All right, good morning. My name is Michael Henry, and just a little bit about myself. I've been with the cyber program now since 2014-2015 school year. Uh, this session is going to be on Powerspeak. I teach social studies, but I also work with our Powerspeak teachers here at Seneca Valley, as well as a lot of the OP partners when they have questions, concerns, and some issues with Powerspeak. I reach out to Edgenuity quite a bit with issues that we see, that we come across, and trying to get some changes made, which that's going to be the presentation today, is the changes that they are starting to make to Powerspeak. And so why foreign language online? The Powerspeak program really does make it fun and exciting for students. In speaking with our foreign language teachers, a lot of what's in Powerspeak follows the format that they use in a traditional classroom. Looking at some of the activities they have in there, the videos, the quizzes, and the different activities, they say they are fun and interesting. The online course gives students the opportunity to plan study time around the rest of their day instead of the other way around. So there's we always talk about that flexibility. With Powerspeak, they're learning two different LMSs. They're going through Edgenuity, learning that LMS system, as well as going through the Powerspeak program. And so it's also a 21st century skill, and times have changed. And so, I sometimes hear, well, how can you take a foreign language online? How is that possible? And a lot of times, they don't understand how that program works. And, I go back to that 21st century skill. We look at 30 years ago, what life was like, and 30 years ago, students using a phone had that rotary phone. I'm sure a lot of us looking in the room remember those rotary phones. Then you had that push button phone. Our 21st century student, this is the phone that they know. A lot of households today, that is their telephone in their house. They don't even have a home phone anymore. My aunt just found out she got rid of her home phone, and I couldn't believe it. She's probably in her early 70s, and they got rid of their home phone. So this is something that has changed. Then and now, our computers. And I look around the room, and I see a lot of the tablets being used as well. A lot of filming goes on with tablets today. Our students 30 years ago wrote letters. You had letter writing in English class. Today, there's their letter writing. If they go on a trip, they're sending a text. And so instantly, we are seeing communication. And another one that I saw and came across 30 years ago, a lot of us had to go clean the chalkboard erasers. And today, students can erase their work at the snap of a finger. And so when I think of Powerspeak, I think a lot of these examples. The classroom has definitely changed. 30 years ago, many of you probably in elementary school did a balloon launch. Today, students are Skyping. I remember in elementary school doing a balloon launch and got a letter back, and I was so excited. Someone from Lancaster, and it was a Pennsylvania Dutchman, sent a letter back. Today, we are Skyping with people throughout the world. Students 30 years ago, photo sharing, made scrapbooks. Today, Facebook, Instagram, and a multitude of programs. Students 30 years ago, that was their television, how they watched TV. I added in the rabbit ears because I always had to mess with the rabbit ears where I lived. I lived out in the country, and so I was always fighting with the rabbit ears to get Channel 13. Today, Netflix, Hulu, the list goes on and on. Students 30 years ago probably remember the boom boxes. Today, they're sharing music. They're listening to their iPhones and the different music that they have. Newspapers, today it's all on tablet. There was someone just came into the room a little bit ago, and they're having a baby, and it's instant media. Report cards. Report cards used to look like this, all handwritten. Today, in grade book for Edgenuity, you can get the grades instantly with one click or a quick sort. And so I found a lot of these. There's a website, weareteachers.com. They had some of the old resources there. And so in looking at Powerspeak, it's a new wave. It's been out for a while, but it's a new way of learning a language. And so currently Powerspeak teachers that get into Powerspeak have to go into a student, any one of their students, click on Manage, Powerspeak, and then they can see the different variety of videos, games, quizzes, the speaking quizzes, the writing quizzes, but it takes a while to get into it. It's a process to get into it. Another issue that we see with the Powerspeak courses is customizing. It's nearly impossible to customize a course. So if a teacher had a traditional activity that they wanted to add in, to make this a blended course would be very difficult. The progress grade is probably the biggest issue. So many times parents have said, I'm getting this progress report and it's saying they're only 4% complete, but they've completed lessons 11 through 45 like the teacher said. And so there's a lot of issues with the progress and the grading to track. And so a lot of these issues were told Edgenuity, they knew they were there, and now they're starting to solve this issue.
Yeah. What does that number even mean, like that progress report? What does that reflect?
That reflects lessons 1 through 180 is what that's reflecting.
Okay.
And so the program's set up to have 180 lessons, which our students do not complete.
Right.
It would be pretty much a year and a half course if you completed it that way. So it's reflecting off 180 lessons instead of the average of 35 lessons per grading period. And so that's the big problem there. So what's new within Powerspeak? Powerspeak will be run within Edgenuity now. And so it'll look like every other Edgenuity course that is out there. For some of the partners that have seen the eDynamic courses, I know Mrs. Lehman has some of those. I have like the Law and Order, the Criminology. Those used to be through Moodle and then through eDynamic. They took those and put them in Edgenuity. So they're taking Powerspeak, putting it in Edgenuity, and so teachers can now go in, click on their user group, pick a student, and then they will see all of the work they have completed. The teachers now do not have to go into the separate LMS, and so it's all in-house with Edgenuity, which makes it very nice. So the benefits, accurate progress reports. Finally, we are going to have a progress report where we see accurate progress and accurate grade reports. And so now when we customize a course, let's say for Spanish 1 through 35, lessons 1 through 45, the progress will be for 1 through 35. It's not a guessing game anymore. The parent grade report is going to be accurate, and so that'll be nice. Another issue that's been resolved, Val always had to send a new Powerspeak course for Spanish 1, 2, 3, 4, French 1, 2, 3, 4, German 1, 2. She had to clean those all out of the partnering schools, erase them, and then load new every single year. And if there was an old course accidentally missed, the dates would go out. So if it was dated 2015, the students were locked out and it caused a lot of problems. Now that eliminates that. So that eliminates that issue of being locked out. Now we have a Powerspeak course just like any other course. And so we can leave those in there year after year from what we've been told, and it'll work more efficiently. Also, teachers can customize the lessons. And so some schools might say, okay, you know what, we want to actually use, 1 through 40. Okay, you can do that. We typically use 1 through 35, 36 through 70, 71 through 105. We have that set up that we recommend using. But if a teacher wanted to use this in a blended classroom, they could. And so they could pick the lessons that they wanted to use. And so if some of our partners are doing a blended classroom for their Powerspeak, now it's a lot easier to do that. Some benefits, the teachers can now add their own activities, projects, questions. Some school districts have within their district essential questions focus questions. And so now you're able to do that within Powerspeak, and it's a lot easier to add or customize a course like any other course. Some items of note, the teachers currently grade work by clicking on apples. So they go and pick a student out of their list. I click on that student, manage Powerspeak, go to manage Powerspeak, see the students. Click on the little apple, you find the apples. Now, in a new format, teachers will use the dashboard. And so teachers will use the dashboard, and so they can go select by their user group, and then you will find by your user group what lessons need graded. And so this is something Powerspeak teachers before really didn't have to do. Now it's recommended over the summer that they go into the dashboard at Feature of Edgenuity and learn more about that. And I know there's some presentations today that deal with that. Before user groups, besides loading courses for students in Powerspeak courses, it wasn't really that beneficial to the teachers with the user groups. The only reason for it was to load the courses for a Powerspeak teacher or a foreign language teacher. Now, that's very important because I can click on my user group here and then pull up my user group of students in Spanish 1 and see, okay, Samantha did these lessons, I need to grade these particular lessons. And so there's no more apples, and so that dashboard will be very important for Powerspeak teachers to learn. One thing Edgenuity has said about this new format is that if a teacher would take out any lessons or add any activities, the Powerspeak course within Edgenuity is static, meaning that it won't, these changes won't reflect any content added. So the tests are the tests, and so anything you add or take out, you know, if you take something out, it's still going to be on the test. Now, here at Seneca Valley, we do not use the midterm or final exams. The way we have it broken up, sometimes the content won't be covered anyhow. So we still recommend taking out the midterm final exams so that customizing process would not impact those midterm and final exams that are in there. And so we take those out. We recommend not using them anyhow. So it shouldn't really impact us with those tests or exams being static. Okay. Another thing that could change with that too, just thinking, is the credit recovery. If you do need a credit recovery, it might be something feasible now to make. Before, we really didn't have credit recovery. And so we haven't seen yet, because we're not releasing this until the summer of 2019 this summer, but we might be able to do, the prescriptive test on there. We'll have to experiment a little bit with that, but we might be able to do a credit recovery version now, whereas in the past we could not. So we'll have to see that this summer. Another item, AP. AP is still separate. So AP, Spanish, German, they will not be within Edgenuity. They will still be through Middlebury. I know they had the survey out. There's been some twitches, some little issues with the AP Powerspeak. I know in the Spanish that we've contacted them about, but it's still going to be through Powerspeak through Middlebury. So that one's a little different. So the AP is still going to run the same. A couple other items. When this is released by Edgenuity this summer, we will make sure that we create the courses and get them out to our partners. One thing we would recommend is when the courses finish up this school year, to archive them, to get rid of them. And so if you're your own teacher of record, we really recommend the teacher going in and cleaning it out. And it would really help us out. And so old versions of Powerspeak, get rid of them. That way they're not accidentally loaded. Clean it out, and that way when you type on a type of course, foreign language, they're gone. Okay, if it doesn't happen, Val does go through and clean those all out, but it would, she has a million things on her plate. It would really help us out when they're done to archive them.
Will the new courses still be called Powerspeak?
Yes, yes. So we will we'll label them Spanish 1. We'll keep the WL 9603 on them. That way you know what version. And then we'll have lessons 1 through 35, and we'll get those courses created. Very much like a U.S. history, first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, third 9 weeks. Yep, and we'll use it for those that are on the live stream. They won't be able to see this on the screen. But for the foreign languages, we have a little chart that's been sent out before with like 1 through 35, 36 through 70, and the point totals that are typically associated with them. So with the motivation for these courses, I know in our building, teachers are asked to use focus and essential questions. And so now they're able to do this. They're able to add what's being done in the traditional classroom into the cyber course. For example, one of the focus questions that the Spanish department has: what is the social etiquette when eating in a Spanish-speaking restaurant, and how does that differ from American restaurants? And there is the food section in Powerspeak, so this is something that you're able to adapt into a new version of Powerspeak. When we look at what makes elective courses, I know sometimes there's that scare of, okay, elective courses, are there going to be the numbers there? So we think about elective courses and why they're successful at your school currently. How can foreign language teachers incorporate this into their online or blended course? So what are some things that, just brainstorming that in your different elective courses that this elective could do? Any thoughts, or maybe something your teachers are doing currently that they could incorporate in? I wanted to throw this out there to see if anyone had any ideas. Or I know the big one for us are the focus questions, essential questions. Anything that your school requires that now they can put in there? Well, if you think of anything, you could share that later. So at 12:30 to 1:15, there is the seminar, Taking Digital Core to the Next Level. They are going to focus on, and that's Megan Meter, Larry Deal. They will be focusing in on the customizing the courses. If you are not familiar with how to customize an Edgenuity course, this would be a perfect time or a perfect session to attend to learn on how to do that. Because again, the Powerspeak or foreign language teachers haven't had to do this. I know there's going to be some information about the dashboard out there today too. So I would highly recommend for those in attendance to check those sessions out and get to know those aspects of engineering. Any questions? Yes.
Do you know if there's any updates on how to add videos that teachers want to make their own to incorporate it into their courses?
Yes. So that will be part. I think Mr. Deal is going to talk about adding the videos and things like that, because that's something we've done. If they don't cover it, I have some information on that as well. I know last year I presented on adding some of that, and the year before adding the videos in. We use what we call SV Tube in-house, and I take my link in Edgenuity to that SV Tube.
Do you need the SV Tube? Can you do just a YouTube video or anything?
You could do the YouTube video. Yes, we've done that before. My fear is always if they eliminate the video in YouTube, then then you have to change it.
One other question is, you mentioned that Law and Order, Criminology are no longer in Dynamics; they're now Edgenuity courses. Is that what you said? Yeah.
So those courses are all within Edgenuity. I know there's because they charge us more for the seats for partners. There is a charge for that, additional charge. But Val has information on those e-dynamic courses. There's Law and Order, Criminology, National Security, History of the Holocaust. There's a foods one I know. There's a couple. with the English department. There's a couple
Are
of
they
those.
Apple compatible?
Um,
iPad compatible?
that's the one catch is because they have to upload Microsoft Word documents.
Okay.
That's the one catch with those courses. It's recommended to use a laptop computer with Word on it. So, any other questions?
Mike, even if they have Apples, they can still take like a Pages document and format it to be a Word
Yes.
and then upload it, so it should work.
Yeah, I had that, I think, a year ago, I think, I had someone that would use Pages, and then we got that to work, so thank you, Chad, for helping us out with that. Any other questions about the Powerspeak, or even the dynamic, well, we've mentioned those. All right, so well, thank you very much, I know this is a little bit short, but we're waiting on Edgenuity to release that till we get, a better feel for what all we're going to see. But right now, that's the information they provided to us, and we'll be touching base with you guys this summer with more information as it comes out. And once the course is released, we'll let you know when they're ready. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.